Morphe and James Charles. I am so excited about this palette. So I ordered this palette and I just got it in today from UPS. It didn't arrive at my house until about 4:30, and then I was gonna start filming, and then my daughter needed to be taken all these places, and I didn't start filming until like 7 o'clock tonight, and it's now 11 o'clock. So I've been here a minute, but I wanted to get this palette up for you guys as soon as possible. So even though I just uploaded my Foundation Friday video, and tomorrow, which will probably be, by the time you guys are seeing this, it'll be tomorrow, but you know, and Saturday at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, I have another video going up on my channel. But you guys, I have to have this up on my channel ASAP. I love the outside packaging, and even though I have lotion on my hands and I'm getting a little bit of fingerprints on it, I love the way this is created. I love the black with the shiny writing. It's amazing. Now let's open it up. Now I've been playing in it, so mine's not as pretty as it was when I first got it, but there she is, the beautiful queen herself. It's very pretty, you guys. I had to use this shade. That's what's on my lid, and I had to use it. It just called me from a whole other place. In this video, I create two looks for you guys. The first one is kind of like the deeper reds and the, you know what I mean? And then this look, I wanted to go a little bit more colorful. Now, I know that there's a lot of color in this palette. Like the whole two bottom rows are a mixture of beautiful, vibrant colors. But as you guys know, colors are hard for me, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a makeup artist. I'm just a makeup enthusiast. And so it's very hard for me to use color and try to create a look with it. So there's so many different videos up on YouTube with so many different people creating gorgeous eye looks with those beautiful, vibrant, bright colors. I wanted to create more wearable looks for that everyday look. I am living for this on my eye. I really love the first look that I created with it, but I'll be honest with you, this one is definitely my favorite. And if it wasn't 11 o'clock at night, I would continue to play because I'm having a lot of fun in this palette. I really am. And I still need to edit this video tonight. So that's why I'm not going to continue, but I'm having a lot of fun with this palette. And if you guys want to see more looks with this palette, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to dedicate another video creating more looks with this palette, but today we're just going to do two, and I am so excited about this, you guys. So this palette retails for $39, and you can now get it at Ulta. I know it sold out on Morphe like within, what, 5 minutes? Fortunately, my old butt, I remembered to set my alarm, and I'm really glad I did because it sold out in 5 minutes. So I was able to pick it up, and Morphe sent it quickly. Like, I got it within 2 days, which was pretty incredible for a launch like that. But you can now get this at Ulta. I think they have limited quantities, so I would probably call ahead and see if they have it in stock because it's probably going to sell out pretty quick. I mean, he does have, what, 10 million followers? So there's a lot of people wanting this palette. I want to give a huge shout out to James Charles for being so incredibly amazing. I mean, he's grown his channel in 3 short years to 10 million subscribers. You guys, he's done a lot of major accomplishments for a 19-year-old. It's so impressive. It's unbelievable. I mean, this kid is on fire, and I am so happy to see him grow to where he's at, and he works so hard. One reason why I was excited to get this palette is because I know that James is a perfectionist. Now, even though I'm 39 and he's 19, my son's 2 years younger than him, so I don't relate to him as far as like a makeup artist because he does do some gorgeous looks, but they're looks that I really can't wear. And we don't have the same skin. I mean, he's young and vibrant, and I'm kind of old and kind of need a lot of help. You know what I mean? So even though I don't relate to him as far as that goes, but what I do know about James is that he's a hard worker and he's a perfectionist, and you can tell by the quality of his videos. He doesn't just throw up a video to throw it up there. He takes his time. He plans them out. He researches. He does so much work for one video. It's incredible. I know how hard it is to grow a channel, and I understand the dedication that it takes. And for him to do what he's done, and for the extra effort that he puts into his videos, I mean, he's an incredible person. And that was the reason why I had faith in this palette, because I will be honest with you, Morphe has been, it's been kind of a hit and miss with me. I love the original Jaclyn Hill palette. It is one of my favorite palettes of all time. And the vault was a complete mess. Some of the other palettes that I've gotten from Morphe, they're just always up and down. There's not a lot of consistency with the quality of the shadows. I knew with James Charles being a part of this palette, I knew that him being such a perfectionist, that he would not accept anything less than the best that Morphe had to offer. And so that was the reason why I decided, you know what, I'm gonna spend the $39. I'm gonna buy this palette and I'm gonna give it a chance. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. The first look was the one I was talking about with like the whole like red, dark, purpley, smoky eye with like the real cut crease. And then the second look is this look, which I'm living for. I'm just gonna say I'm living for it. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and let's get into it. Up here, I have foundation on and I have my brows done. Why is that? Because my brows are the biggest pain in my butt. So I have no makeup on my lower half of my face because I am going to be playing with colors. I don't know how these shadows are going to perform and I don't want like a ton of fallout and have to fix that situation. This is how it comes, just so that you guys can see. And then it comes wrapped up in this bubble wrap. This is the palette. And she's so big that I can't eat, that's as close as I can get to the camera. Okay, so I'm gonna first go in with this shade right here. And I'm basically going to just take a big, fat, fluffy brush and I'm gonna sweep that all over my concealer and make sure that everything is set down. I'm gonna grab my Morphe M506 brush and I'm gonna first go in with this gorgeous shade right here. I'm gonna basically like sweep this in the crease. Oh, she's pigmented, you guys. Like, she's got some pigment. Okay, so I'm just kind of pressing this into the crease and just kind of building that up. But so far, I like it. Now I'm gonna switch things up and I'm gonna go into this shade right here. I'm gonna take this brush from Sigma. This is the E25 blending brush. And I'm gonna start building up my outer corner and just kind of pressing this in. Whatever's left on the brush, I'm gonna kind of sweep that into the crease and kind of sharpen and define that line. Now let's go even deeper. I'm gonna go into the shade right below it. It's the big one right here. I'm just kind of packing that here on the outer corner. And again, whatever's left over on the brush, I'm kind of sweeping it into the crease. I'm gonna go back in with that smaller shade right above it, the second shade that we used, and I'm gonna sweep that in the crease and kind of build up that definition. You know what these shades are reminding me of? It's reminding me of the Jaclyn Hill palette. Like I'm getting the Jaclyn Hill vibes. The original Jaclyn Hill palette, not the Vault. The Vault was a hot mess. They're really nicely pigmented shadows. So now I'm going back in with my M506 and I'm just gonna kind of blend my crease out. I kind of want to do a cut crease. I'm kind of having a cut crease moment. I don't know why. I haven't done a cut crease in a minute. But this baby pink right here is like calling my name. And I do feel like because it's such a light pink that I kind of need to cut my crease with some concealer. So I'm going to grab my KKW Beauty concealer in shade 6. I'm going to put it here on the back of my hand. And then I'm going to grab my small little concealer brush. This one is from Bare Minerals and it's super duper teeny. I've had it for many, many years. And I am going to cut my crease really fast. I'm going to grab this Fender blender. I love using a felt tip applicator to apply my shimmer shades, and I love this little applicator from Huda Beauty. So this is like the perfect tool to really sharpen up that cut crease. So I'm gonna go into that baby pink shade. I don't know why, you guys. It's just calling me. I just want it on my lid, like I really do. I'm gonna go in dry first. It is a beautiful baby pink. I'm going to switch brushes. This is the set of 4 brushes that we got in our BoxyCharm. You can order them separately if you guys didn't get the BoxyCharm. But I'm going to go back into this shade right here and then probably maybe bring some of these 2 shades in. We'll see. And this has an angle on it, and so it's really nice to kind of get up in there. And I'm basically using that shade to kind of blend that in to what we got going on the outer corner. We're going to go into the dark shade, the big one below it. And I'm just going to kind of pack that on over here. Okay, and now I'm going to go back in with my felt tip applicator. I'm going to go back into that pink shade and then place it over top so it just kind of fades in. That's what I have to do. Like, I mean, I know we all have like our own technique of cut creases, but I always like to go in with the darks, pack that on, and then go over it one more time with the actual shade that I used to cut the crease. Now I'm going to take this shade and this dark gray shade, and I'm going to kind of mix those two together and just really build up that dark definition. Okay, now I'm going to take this flat brush from Jaclyn Hill Morphe collaboration. This is the JH42, and I'm going to go in to this top shade right here. It's the second shade in the palette. I'm just going to take my makeup wipe and kind of dampen my brush and then go in with the shadow and see if that gives it a little bit more of a pop. Oh yeah, she's there now. There she is. Hello, pretty girl. Okay, so I went ahead and threw on my base makeup. Let's go ahead and try this shade as a highlighter. So he mentioned that this shade right here, the second one in the bigger part of the palette, could be used as a highlighter. So let's try it. I'm going to take my Sigma tapered highlighter brush. This is the F35. Let's try it. Oh, it's very soft and I like it. I almost felt like it was going to be kind of more of a blinding highlighter because that's kind of who James Charles is. But it's very soft and very beautiful on the face. Like, that is a beautiful shade. So let's go ahead and wet the face down. I'm going to put some MAC Fix Plus. So let's go over top of it while the face is wet. Oh! So that's what's nice about this highlighter. You can really make this highlighter pop by, you know, making your face, you know, spraying your face with some setting spray and then putting it over top, or you don't have to have it that pop and highlighter. But you guys, this is not chunky. It's a very smooth highlighter. Highly impressed. And let me say why. I bought a few highlighters from Morphe, like, you know, like a couple months ago when they brought them out. I think I got the shade Lit. Hated it. I did not like the formula of it. I used it once and I've never picked it up again. So I'm very surprised by that highlighter, and I'm very surprised at how beautiful it is because I am very picky with my highlighters, and it's because I'm almost 40, and if I wear a really like chunky, thick, crazy highlighter, it just really dramatizes my texture, dramatizes my wrinkles, and it's not a good look. But this is beautiful. So let's go ahead and do the lower lash line. So I'm going to take that same brush from that Luxie collection I was talking about. It has that slant tip on it. This is the mini flat angled brush. And I'm going to go into this shade first, this like rosy pinkish shade. And then I'm going to go into this shade and then possibly deepen it with that shade. So now I'm going to go into this shade right here. Wow, these shades are pigmented and they blend so seamlessly. Like, so far, this is like an A+, you guys. A+. I am so impressed. Now I'm going to take this brush from Luxie. This is the small shader brush, the 245. And I'm going to dampen it with my makeup wipe. So I always have a makeup wipe sitting here on my makeup counter. And I'm going to go into that second shade in the palette that we used to do the brow bone highlight. And I'm going to put this right here for my inner corner highlight. Oh, that shade, you guys. This palette is amazing so far. I'm going to take this brush from Sigma. This is the flat definer, the E15 brush. And I'm going to go in and mix between this shade and this shade. that dark gray shade. And I'm basically going to start smoking this out right close to the lash line, but only bringing it in so far. Like I don't want to like overpower the look with that. I love this look. I think it looks so beautiful on the eye. I really love this cut crease. I think it looks really, really pretty. And this palette definitely surprised me. It did. So I'm gonna go ahead, wipe this off, and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I got my face freshly washed except for this area. I left it alone because I hate doing my brows. I'm gonna take this brush from the Morphe Jaclyn Hill collection. This is the JH42. It's that like flat type tip brush. I'm gonna go in to this second shade right here, and I'm going to highlight my brow bone right here and just kind of place, oh, see, it doesn't have much pigment until like you need to wet it down. So I'm gonna dampen my brush with a makeup wipe, and then I'm gonna go into that shade. Okay, now I got some, and now I'm gonna go over here and highlight my brow bone. But I want this kind of nice and highlighted. Like that's kind of what I'm going for. I'm gonna take this brush from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe collection. This is the JH33 brush. And I'm gonna go into this shade right here. And I'm gonna pop this on the crease and just kind of start building up the crease a little bit. I'm just basically keeping that directly in the crease, but I'm using it as a transition shade. I'm gonna go into this shade. It's kind of a orangey brown shade. Put that right there in the crease, keeping it in the crease, just like buffing it with like windshield wiper motions, just buff, buff, buff. I'm gonna take that Luxie, this is the small shader brush, the 245, and I'm gonna go into the shade right next to it. This one right here. I'm using that shade to create a defined line right here in the middle of my crease, but keeping it right there in the crease. I'm gonna go back into that blending brush, and without any extra product, I'm just gonna buff that out. But see how it's still, like, even if you start buffing it, it still keeps that line. Now I'm going to dip my brush into that shade, and I'm going to place this right above that line and right in between that line and the crease. I'm going to take the Fender blender from Huda Beauty, and I'm going to go into this turquoise shade right here. It's a beautiful shade that I have to use. Like, I got to put that all over my lid. Oh, that shade is so pretty. That shade is gorgeous. It's probably one of the prettiest turquoise blues that I've used. It's like a light blue, and it has that really pretty like turquoise. This is probably my favorite. I always gravitate towards this like seafoam baby blue, like oceanic shade, and this is the prettiest I've ever seen. This is so pretty. I'm gonna take this brush from the Luxie eye collection. It comes with like 4 different brushes. This is the mini flat angled brush, and so it has like an angle on it. And I'm going to go into this orange shade and then this brown shade, and I'm gonna kind of mix those two together and build up the outer corner just a little bit, just to add a little bit of definition out here on this outer corner. I just keep kind of going back and forth in between those shades. I'm just gonna grab this small little teeny concealer brush, and I'm gonna go into this shade right here, which is the one that we used for the brow bone. I wanna put this like right here just to give it that extra pop right there in the middle. Now that's what it looks like dry. I'm gonna put it here on the brush, and then I'm gonna spray it. Gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Okay, I got some base makeup on. Let's go into the highlighter. This one right here. I'm going to use my Sigma tapered highlighter brush, the F35, and I just want to pop this on the cheek because it is pretty. Let's go ahead and spray the face. Let's go back in and pop it on top and give it that extra Poppity pop pop. Oh, she's pretty. Oh, she's pretty. Okay, let's do the lower lash line. I'm going to take that angled brush that I've been using pretty much the entire tutorial, and I'm going to go in to the orange shade and then that shade. But I'm going to only bring this in so far, so I'm going to kind of follow along with the upper lash line. So I'm bringing that in right to about halfway. I'm going to go in with the dark shade. So then I'm going to like clean that brush off, which it's nice because it's such a small brush that it cleans just super fast. On my makeup wipe, I just rub it across it and it's clean. So now I'm going to go into the turquoise blue shade that we've been using right there. I need it to be as bright as the upper lash line. So I'm going to go into that shade and then I'm going to wet it down with some MAC Fix Plus. Yes, please. Okay, for the inner corner, I'm going to go in with this Jaclyn Hill Morphe Collection brush. This is the JH42. And I'm going to go into that second shade right there in the palette. And I'm going to place this right here. Oh, this is so pretty. This is definitely my favorite look. I am loving the way this looks on my eyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys my final thoughts on this palette. I just have to say right off the bat, I always keep it 100% with you guys, and I really love this palette. I just think this palette is very unique, and I do think that it is exactly what James intended for it to be, to kind of step out of your box a little bit and kind of be more playful with colors. And this is truthfully the perfect palette for that person who loves to play with color, that are pigmented, blend well. All the shades that I used, I had zilch problem. Like, I didn't have any issues. I know that I didn't mess with like the yellows and the greens and the blues and the purples and the pinks. Those shades are very hard to create. If those shades are the ones that you're interested in, there are tons of videos with people using those more vibrant shades that truthfully know how to use them. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm not a makeup artist, so I really struggle and don't really know if I know how to use those vibrant shades and try to create that beautiful look. I think it takes a lot of talent, and I am so impressed with this palette. I totally see how a makeup artist could really put this palette to use from a consumer and just a regular makeup enthusiast. I am so glad I got this palette in my collection, and I am really excited to create some really beautiful fall looks with this palette. I'm really impressed with it. He really did a great job. And Morphe proved that they can create a really good eyeshadow. Like, I don't know what happened with the Jaclyn Hill Vault. I'm still trying to figure that out. It was such a flop for me, but they prove right here that they can create some great quality products. They just need to continue and be more consistent with that. And that's my issue with Morphe. They're just not very consistent. And I wish they were, but they're not. So as far as my opinion on this palette, on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm giving this a 10. It is a nice palette. And if you guys have been interested in getting it, but you just didn't know, or maybe those shades are a little bit intimidating, don't be intimidated by all the color. If you're somebody that doesn't like a lot of color, and you already have these shades on those top 3 rows, then you probably don't need this palette, because I don't find that the shades are unique, but I find that the palette is unique because it's very rare to find a all-in-one palette. Based on how I'm seeing these shadows, they are pigmented. So, I mean, there's one of the blues, that's the green. I'm just gonna swatch a few of these shades. I mean, let's go into the purple. I mean, they're pretty pigmented, you guys. And I know that there was some controversy behind his swatches, but I never base an eyeshadow palette based on swatches, you guys, because swatches are very unreliable. You cannot determine how a shadow is going to blend, perform, pack, give intensity, none of that by a swatch. The only thing that a swatch is good for is so that you can actually see the shade. So, because the shade sometimes looks different down inside the pan versus on its own. It's the only time I think the swatches really matter. But here are some of these swatches. I just want to kind of go through some of these so that you guys can see what these look like, because I didn't use any of those vibrant shades. I mean, that yellow, it's super pretty, you guys. So there's the white. I mean, it is a pigmented palette. Shade right there. I mean, holy crap, that's pigmented, you guys. I just don't think you're going to have any struggles with this palette. It is a nicely pigmented palette, and it really performs. And I mean, you look at those. I know he got a lot of backlash for his swatches, which I think that was just trying, you know, I think that's just people trying to be dramatic. There is nothing wrong with these swatches. I just did them, nothing fancy. I'm not a professional swatcher. I didn't edit this to make this fancy for you guys. That's just on my arm swatching it, and they perform just fine. That is what the highlighter looks like, and I'm going to put my favorite Amrezy next to it. I know the reason why I love this highlighter is because it's pretty much exactly the same thing. Check that out. It's exactly the same thing. Now, I want to say that the Amrezy is like $26, $28. So if you spent $11, $12 more, you could get all these eyeshadows and the same type of shade in a highlighter. That is exactly the same. That's the reason why I loved this highlighter the second that I put it on, because it's exactly the same as the Amrezy. That's the Amrezy. That's the highlighter from the palette. This is a fabulous palette, and I think he killed it. And I do think that this is just as good of quality as the Jaclyn Hill palette. So if you guys have the Jaclyn Hill palette and you love that palette, and you got to think about that too. If you guys have the Jaclyn Hill palette and you had this palette, you'd have every shade you ever needed to create any look you ever wanted. I am so excited. Congratulations, James. You killed it. So that is what I have for you guys today. I want to let you guys know that everything I used will be in the description box down below. The eyelashes, the lippy that I paired it with, all of that will be in the description box down below. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to come right back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Now, again, when I say tomorrow, I mean Saturday. And I don't know, it is 11 o'clock at night. So I'm going to have to really work hard to get this video up ASAP. So it'll probably be right around like 1 o'clock in the morning. So at 11 a.m. on Saturday, I am going to have another video up. So we're going to have like a 2-for-1. It's just going to be a bunch of videos in the last 24 hours. So I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend filled with love, happiness, and joy. I love you guys so much. Bye.